our specific activities or strategic plan or objective within one organization can intertwine or can mix or can evolve with another organization strategic plan or action plan throughout the RAP program.
Looking back at the Regional Africa program, it was a journey with a lot of evolution in our understanding of what the framework was and of the implementation. And in the process of that journey, we became a lot more coherent and aware of the importance of mainstreaming gender throughout the program.
Most of us were like, but we are not women's rights organizations. You know, like, how are we going to mainstream the gender aspects in each activities that we do within the project? But later on, with the guidance that was brought in from the experts of gender, we were able to really see gender aspects, you know, like in a different way, and it was becoming much more easier.
When equality now came on board in the Regional Africa program of RWI, invited to strengthen the gender equality components of the Regional Africa program. At the time, our assessment of the positioning of gender equality within the RAP was a little on the weaker side, and so we began by embarking on ensuring that the partners understood what we mean by gender equality in its general sense, and then feeding into gender equality programming, specifically gender responsive and gender transformative programming, based on the capacity building sessions that we'd had with them, and also one-on-one technical support that Equality Now gave to the different partners. We've been able to see, as at the end of last year, specifically when we undertook another quick desktop assessment, we've seen that now we don't have any member that falls on the gender blind part of the spectrum, but we're seeing that they are more gender aware and more gender responsive in their programming, but also at an institutional level.
The program might be coming to an end, but I just want to commend the good work that this program has done, generally, and to me as a person. And I really must say that I am now Dr. Wamboi because of the support that you have given me.
We appreciate your funding. If we do not take time to assist the African court to become efficient.
It's been a lot of learnings for myself, Edwin, and the rest of the Octavian team. We decided to take the outcome harvesting approach, as the OECD criteria we felt was a bit of a straitjacket to such a complex system with multiple actors, multiple beneficiaries, if you'd call them that. So we started this process by defining an outcome in Naivasha last year as a change of behavior by the beneficiaries of the intervention. This could be policies, practices, relationships. Now, from that broad spectrum, we went down into the reports, into the work plans, looking for the change. Now, for the change of behavior to be linked, for a contribution to be linked to the Regional African program, would have to have a logical link to it. A logical link could be even the Regional African program supporting a partner going for a meeting, paying for the air ticket, the hotel, facilitating such and such. Now, we harvested around less than 120 outcomes. It was a highly participatory process. I think, Grace, you and Lillian picked about 10. So out of those 100 and something, we have 10 outcomes. I don't know which ones they are. It will be a surprise to me to also find out what they'll be. We've had a number of broad sense outcomes in policy collaboration. I'll just touch on a few. We've had strengthened capacities to influence by building relationships. This we've seen with the Community Court of Justice taking on the hiring of an officer to follow up on implementation at the national level. This is born out of the tripartite dialogue, which you've just seen. We've also had increased access to the regional courts. ELS, David Sigano intimated on this. South Sudan, increase of number of cases. The quality of submissions have improved. They are less, the quality of submissions has improved greatly. I can't exactly remember the number right now, but it's quite significant. We've had knowledge and awareness on means and mechanisms. Now, a good example will be the African Court Coalition. They conducted multiple trainings, women's rights, access to the African Court. From these trainings, the beneficiaries of these trainings reached out back to them out of their own initiative for support on how to access, what's the next level? How do we go about this? This shows that it is an outcome because they have changed their behavior and can see there is a path to improve access to justice in their own small way. We've seen this in Togo, Ghana, and other countries, even at the individual level, not only CSOs. With alignment of policies, the good example of this would be APCOF with the common standards. The East African Police Chief Association finally, we call it not ratified, the policies. They've taken them up now officially. It's been a journey. I think Sean and his team have been working on this for over 10 years. So it shows that these interventions do take time, but they're worth it. Another significant outcome is individual countries accepting to be assessed against the common indicators. We've seen this in South Sudan, Kenya, Uganda. In Uganda, an outcome of that assessment was now the Uganda police forces are looking to integrate the recommendations of the assessments and the policies into their new strategy. You can reach out to Sean for more on that. Also, we also harvested outcomes from the Kenya, the prisons program. We had some very interesting outcomes. South Sudan and Uganda requested RWI for training on community service modules. In Rwanda, out of the Mandela Rules training, the Rwanda Prison Service now separates inmates and convicts, which is a big step. And there are many more. Even the Uganda Prison Service accepted to be assessed. This is the first time ever, quite significant. We've seen increased cooperation with regional bodies. NANRI and ELS created repositories of human rights information which are being accessed. The likes Dr. Tarisai was talking about, they are being downloaded. As Octavian, we would like to know how these resources are being used in the next phase of the program. We've had secondment of researchers to the East African Court of Justice and the African Court who have facilitated law reports and digest of human rights cases. On the academic network, Doctor will speak on it, but I remember one interesting case. A participant in the moot court competition coached the team in the next year's competition to be the winners, right? So a lady called Michelle, if I'm not wrong. Another participant of the moot court competition started his own consultancy to fight for the rights of minority groups. This is all born out of the academic network's activities. So these examples are why we took up outcome harvesting, to find out the second chain of results that happen that you won't easily find out from looking at sustainability, coherence of the program itself. So we went to the partners, we explained to them in Naivasha what we want to do with the outcome harvesting. Some partners took it upon themselves to create tools to go back to their direct beneficiaries of their trainings and ask them, so what did you do with your training? Tell us what you did with your training. This is how we harvested some of these outcomes. And I believe we'll have gotten many more with time and a bit more resources to complete the exercise. But as Octavian, this was a great learning opportunity. We hope the RWI will pick it up as a monitoring tool going forward to complement the OECD criteria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. As John said, Octavian has worked with RWI from the late 2019, and our implementing partners especially have had over and over again about intermediate outcomes, outputs, all this technical language. And when our colleague Lillian Muller, who is the brains behind what we're about to show you, came and wanted to have a communication output where we would show the results of the Regional Africa program, she always used to say that the language we are using is very technical, you know, the languages we used in reports and proposals and all that. So she wanted us to have success stories that are not coming from the NANDRIs and the ACCs and the ELSs, but that are coming from the RAP beneficiaries, some of whom we have seen, some of whom are seated next to us. So that was really where the idea of coming up with the success story booklet came up from. And this booklet, which you're about to see, is titled Their Story, Our Footprints. And it's really an authentic, raw narration from the beneficiaries of these trainings we are speaking about, of these academic network workshops that you're talking about, from all this correction work we are doing or policing work that we are doing. We tried to make it as relatable as possible, relatable to all the people here, but relatable to any other Wanjiko, as we call it in Kenya, any other citizen that is walking down the road. And we also tried to make sure that it's a representation of what the Regional Africa program is about. So we wanted it to have a diverse set of beneficiaries. So when you read the booklet, there will be a story of a young scholar and how they benefited from the Regional Africa program. There are a number of CSOs beneficiaries, some of whom we've spoken about, like the Ghana CSO Coalition. There'll be a story of a national human rights institution saying how the work of NANDRI has helped him achieve some things that you will read about. There's a story of human rights defenders speaking of what PALU has done to support them. Or the story of an officer who has been trained on non-custodial measures. Or a gender practitioner saying how their skills and knowledge have been enhanced through the work of the Regional Africa program. Or of law enforcers speaking about what APCOF has done. So really it's 10 unfiltered stories, not very technical language like, you know, OECD, outcome harvesting. No. It's very, very simple language. And it's very short enough to communicate what you want to communicate. So it's 30 pages. Of 10 stories, starting with a note to readers from RWI, speaking about what the booklet is about, and gratitude to all the people we have worked with in this journey. Because this is not just RWI doing this. This would not have been possible without Sida, who is here in the room, who supported the work that we have been doing for the last 6 years. It would not have been possible without the implementing partners. It would not have been possible without all the AU and REC bodies that we have worked with. And of course, gratitude to the beneficiary themselves who agreed to be part of our journey and to participate in all the activities we have done. We also have a section where we have the Regional Africa in numbers, the statistics we are talking about, how many NHRIs have been able to gain affiliate status, how many lawyers have been trained. So we have a few statistics in the booklet as well. And then, of course, a booklet is not complete with a pictorial section that shows us in action, doing all the things that we have said we have done in the last 6 years. But I don't want to really spoil the sweet surprise of what's behind here. And I don't want to speak really about, I don't want even to read the story, one of the stories that is there, because we have Daktari Wamboi here herself, whose story is featured. It's one of the 10 stories there. So I'll ask Daktari to just speak about how she has benefited directly from the program.
Thank you very much, Grace. I am one of the outcomes, I believe. So the list of the great things that RWI, RAP, and the academic network have done in my PhD journey is this long. But don't worry, I'll only focus on a few. So my story with RWI and the Regional African Program began in the year 2018, and this was just after I had just begun on my PhD journey, or my PhD thesis writing process. And in November that year, I remember the academic network had organized a research symposium for PhD students and other researchers from the region of Africa, and I was very, very privileged to attend it, of course, at the invitation of RWI through RAP. And here, we interacted a lot with the researchers and the other PhD colleagues. We peer reviewed each other's work. We exchanged ideas. We corrected each other's work. We gave suggestions to each other, and that really, really helped me improve my work. But really, the icing on my cake from RWI through RAP, of course, in the academic network, was in November, December of the same year, that's 2018, and that's why my story reads, What is in a Year, as you will read from the booklet. RWI, through, of course, RAP and the academic network, gave me a fully funded research and writing fellowship to attend, which was held in the University of Addis Ababa Center for Human Rights. And that was a whole 2 weeks of doing nothing, not even cooking for the children, just sitting, writing, researching. And that was a really, really great opportunity. I was able to, of course, access the library, the Center for Human Rights Library, but also the Library for the African Union. And there are very, very many rich resources there, which helped me really improve on the literature review section of my work. I was also able to interact with continental actors in the area of human rights, and that's through, even though it was really very informal, but I was able to talk to the members of the Secretariat of the Committee of the Rights and Welfare of the Child, and that really, really enriched my perspective with regard with what I was doing. And so, what is my parting shot? I think I've already said it there, but I just want to say RWI, RAP, and the entire academic network, asante sana. I'm Dr. Wamboi Njogu because of the support that you gave me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daktari. For that and many more stories, it is time for us to read what is in the booklet. So I'd like to welcome Chris to now officially launch here. Sorry for keeping you standing that long.
Should I just say it? So I've been asked to have representatives of the implementing partners join because this booklet, as you've heard, really represents a lot of the stories from that cooperation. So if they can join, right?
Yes, the 6 implementing partners.
Yeah. And then as you'll see when you read the stories, I'm one of the few people who have read the booklet. So it's actually stories from individuals, and I think it's quite interesting. So I think now, now we take this opportunity, of course, to launch this booklet. I think it's, yeah.
We're requesting the representatives of the AU bodies to come here. Dr. Eno, Christine, Gay, Didakas, Maulo. Yeah, you can still. Yeah, and John. Yes. I'd now like to ask representatives of the African Academic Network, Alejandro, Tarisai, who else is here? Fasil. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, you stay there. You need somebody.
Thank you everyone for taking part in that. Thank you, Grace, for organizing. Lillian for leading the stories. And also all the communication officers, I think, have worked tremendously hard on this. I hope you enjoyed the stories inside there. And I hope then this also deals with some of the discussions we had in the morning in terms of the change that the program has been able to make. I think there's really powerful stories inside there. So enjoy the reading and have a good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
one last announcement. Tomorrow, for the first group, the AU and REC bodies, we will be meeting at the boardroom that is right opposite the reception area on first floor. For group 2, the academic network, and group 3, implementing partners, we will be meeting here. The room will be partitioned into 2. So morning, immediately after breakfast, you head into the designated areas. Yeah, Santi.
There's still some coffee, tea for those who want in the welcome to that.
Such a rush, my baby, slow down, come find your love. I'm hoping you see me, come serve it up. When you stir it up, my body belong on TV. Oh, this feeling I get high.